Hello, welcome to our lecture for data science, and this is lesson 5. In this section, we're going to talk about NLP, which is natural language processing. NLP is in high demand right now, and then you can actually see tons of projects that's around NLP. So there's 3 sections we're going to cover. So section 5.1, key concepts, text data cleansing, and section 5.2, we're going to talk about vectorizers, count vectorizer, as well as TF-IDF. And lastly, in section 5.3, we're going to talk about one example using the spam data that we have used before, and then to really go through the entire pipelining of NLP. Let's get started. So lesson 5.1, key concepts in data cleansing. So I'm going to just go ahead and import all these things, and then just copy and paste it into your Jupyter notebook. So the first thing is, how do I actually turn a corpus, right, of documents into a feature matrix? Words to numbers, what does it mean, right? So first of all, let's define some terms. The corpus is pretty much, you can think of as a list of documents, right? You can say Jeff stole my octopus sandwich, and that's the first document. You can have drop the sandwiches and say the sandwich police, right? So you can actually have all these like lists of texts, right? So one text is a document, and then you can have a list of documents, and that's called corpus. So first of all, you can say I already started this like NLTK. So NLTK is a very famous library from Python, which is used for preprocessing, right? So it has some model components, but I will primarily use NLTK for preprocessing. And then sklearn is again used for evaluation, model fitting, and all that, right? So here you can actually see I'm going to actually import nltk.corpus.stopwords and .words in English. So you can actually see stop. So this is pretty much a set of stop words. You can actually print it out. Let's print it out stop, right? So here you can see, okay, so a, about, above, after, all these things, right? And then so all these things we consider as stop words, so we don't want to include like is, right? Like it. Okay, so let's look at this one, right? So first of all, we need to tokenize our corpus or documents. So what that means is really just converting this document or the sentence into a list of words, right? So this is a function I created quickly, but for now, just think that as something that we can use to tokenize words or tokenize the sentence, right? So pretty much you can actually see after running this, applying this function, we'll get something like this, right? So this will become a list of lists, right? So remember, the original corpus is like a list of sentences. You have 3 sentences, right, in one corpus. Now you're going to have a list of lists. Each document will be converted to a list, right? So each word now is a token, right, in this list, in that list. Okay, let's do something, right? So we need to, there are a few steps that are pretty much like standardized steps that you need to take, right, when it comes to NLP. First thing, you want to convert everything to lowercase, right? Because uppercase, lowercase, you have to standardize it. So you can actually either convert it to all uppercase or lowercase. So in this case, we're going to actually do lowercase, and then we're going to lose punctuations, right, like dot, comma, all these things, right, and split into tokens. So that's what we already did, but now let's, do something like, okay, stop words, we already created, right, and then I can do something, okay, is I in our stop words and true, right? And then one more thing, I'd actually convert this to a set, right? So set, remember the difference between set and a list is a list can have duplicate values in it, but a set has to have only non-duplicated values, right? So one value can only appear once, right? So let's see. How do we remove the stop words? How do we remove, these punctuations, right? So what we can say is, so this is our stop words. We have, set of stop words, right? We want to say, if it's not in this stop words, then we want to, here is what's being applied, right? We are passing the stop words, this set as a list that we want to use to filter, right? So whenever a word exists or token exists in our stop words, then we don't want to include it. So that's what we're doing. And then you can see I actually disappeared, right? Like I help right? Like all these. So I used to be one token, but now it disappeared because we remove it. It's in stoppers. We remove this word, right? So, so think of it as a filterization, right? You're filtering things from the original list of words. And now, like, let's we can remove punctuations the same way. And then now let's talk about stemming lemmatizing, right? So it's another like important concept in NLP. So stemming and then lemmatization is pretty much like you want to in English words, I guess you can have many forms, right? Like past tense and then all these other conjugations that you can have. But stemming, by applying stemming and lemmatization, you can actually put the go back to the root of each word. So that's what stemming and lemmatization is doing. So it's part of, think of it as standardization of words, right? So for instance, dropped, right? Dropped can be dropping, right? Can be drops, right? All these conjugations. And then, but I want to have all these words standardized to be drop, right? The original word or the root of this word, right? So that's what the stemming or lemmatization is doing. So now, when we apply this, our list, right? Our list of lists will become like this, applying the stemming and lemmatization. Okay, that's it for section 5.1. Talking about the key concepts, key steps in NLP in terms of data cleansing. Thank you.